nature sometimes can be located differently. Why does it happen? And the last question, what's the difference between out-of-body experience and lucid dreaming? Thank you, I love you.
A lucid dream may allow you to still be sort of connected to the body, the physical realm, but you are conscious of the fact that you are able to extend beyond the physical realm and observe things from a slightly higher point of view. Out-of-body astral travel is the next stage above that, where you're truly able to focus your consciousness away from the physical reality to a greater degree, and you see things differently because now you're looking at the template in non-physical reality that may be responsible for what's going on in physical reality, but the arrangements of things may be very different because it might only be one probable reality that is representative of all the probable realities you could have chosen to experience in terms of your final arrangement of things in the physical world. Upon the idea of actual physical death, of course, you go even farther than that and can see things from a much higher perspective that includes all sorts of probabilities. But the idea is that you're seeing not through eyes, but through consciousness when you are in the out-of-body thing. And in a sense, yes, you leave your body. But mechanically, what's actually happening is you're simply expanding your focus beyond the physical realm. Because it's not that your spirit leaves the body, it's that it expands its focus beyond the physical limitations you've imposed upon your consciousness in order to experience physical reality, what you call physical reality. Because the physical body is in your spirit. It's not that your spirit is actually in your physical body, even though from a linear perspective, that's the way you view it.
Hello.
Good day. Good day.
Hey, Bashar. So, I've been going through some really weird experiences, and I was wondering,
how exciting!
Give me any education of what I'm going through.
All right. Well, give us a description. Be specific.
Okay. So, around October, November 2021, I went on an exorcist TikTok live, and had a psychic as a guest, and I was impressed with what she did. So, I went to her for a psychic reading.
Yes.
I told her about like all these synchronicities I've been having in life. And from that description, she told me I was psychic and I should learn Reiki and I could really help people. So
did that resonate with you?
Yes, but I never ended up learning Reiki. But the guy I went to go learn Reiki from, I had 2 Reiki sessions with him.
Yes.
And he gave me these Joe Dispenza meditations to try.
All right. So before you go on, what you are now seeing a pattern is, as we have described, sometimes the idea is that synchronicity will point you in a certain direction and your excitement may come in a certain form. That doesn't mean that the form it comes in is something that has to play out. It may just be to get you to go to the next place you need to go to get the information that you need.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
All right. Well, then there you go.
After practicing these meditations for 7 months,
yes,
there's this physical phenomenon I can regularly do where I'll be in meditation and then, I'll feel it like coming on, and then my head will sink into my heart and my body will be locked, and I'll be, consciously thinking like what's going on. And then I can go analogously out in the dream. Like I can remember meditating, remember going into that, and remember going out in the dream, go all the way through the dream, and then it ends.
Yes.
So the first time this happened, it was a really weird feeling. And then that happened, and then I was shot up into the air, and I was on this, it looks like a stadium with portholes on the side, and had this hexagonal floor, like glowing white, purplish, blue kind of thing.
You started to remember that you have connection.
Was playing up top of my head.
Started to remember that you've had contact with extraterrestrial beings.
You think so?
I know so. So the idea is that you put yourself in a state where you made the connection between mind, body, spirit, and heart, and it allowed you to extend beyond the physical realm in your senses to give you the memory and the experience that you've had, many experiences that you've had, interacting with extraterrestrial beings, being on their ships, so on and so forth. So what you're doing is increasing your ability to expand your senses to know what's going on different levels of your life, not just the physical realm.
Yeah, so from there, I went to this transparent part of the floor and I fell back down into my body and I was thinking I was awake and I wasn't. And I was like, wow, that was really weird. And then I looked outside my window and my hill's like 30 feet down and the silver car pulls up and all these really deformed people start coming out of the car and climbing up my house to my window. And they get to my window and I go to my father's room and I was like, there's all these people coming up here. What should we do? And like, he wasn't listening to it. And then I ended up at this cafeteria and then I woke up. I actually woke up.
Yes.
Okay. So then the second time that happened, um, head sinks in the yard. I noticed my bedroom door was open. I kept trying to get up and I was like, I was being pelted down to the floor. And eventually I went up and did it, closed the door, back my body, and I noticed it was open again. And this time it's like I sprung out of my body like a cocoon, like this burst of energy.
Yes.
And so I went to go through my house, and every time I went to open a door, it was like it was being trying to be closed by something. And my house was decorated with all this really weird, ancient, Oriental sort of decorations.
All
I
right.
was going through my house, and my living room's covered with ferns, and I get out. It's like this effervescent blue everywhere, and there's these stone statues everywhere. And I'm going up my driveway to my mailbox, and there's this swirling pink orange storm. I mean, purple orange storm. And at my mailbox, it's thousands of these old wooden crates. And I go to pick two of them up without thinking about it. And one was this white mask, like with no imperfections, glowing like the whitest of white masks you could see. And then my whole body overcame with ecstasy. And then as I came back down to my house, the meditation's playing the entire time.
Yes, yes.
And go to my house, and now there's like all these trees with these glowing bulbs and stuff. And I get to the garage door, and I try to open it. And then as soon as the guy, Joe Dispenza, in the meditation says, come out of this state, like I woke up.
All right.
Do you think that's an astral projection?
Partly. You're extending your consciousness, again, beyond your physical form, your senses, to experience some aspects of non-physical reality, different aspects of your own consciousness on different levels, recognition that you're part of what we call the hybridization agenda, which is the representation of all the so-called deformed people climbing toward your house, different hybrid children that were not necessarily as genetically successful as others that you have witnessed. There are many different aspects going on here. You opened the crate that had the perfect mask, which is again the idea of your true self, your spirit self, seeing yourself from that point of view. Did you open the other crate?
No, but it had that same white material showing through. I couldn't get it open.
All right. So again, the idea of the ideal vibration, your true self vibration, receiving messages from different sources, hence the idea of the mailbox, communications coming from many different sources, breaking through the barriers of your physical reality into parallel realities, seeing many things overlapping simultaneously, which I understand can be somewhat confusing, which is why you are saying it's all very weird. But remember that weird is simply something you're not used to. You are expanding your senses using these techniques, these meditations. You will get used to it and you will start to be able to figure out what belongs where and piece it all together and put it in order and organize it in a way that makes more sense to you. But right now, you're just exposing your senses to many different sources of information, many different parallel realities, and many different things that you are a part of. So you can keep going, but understand that you can also ask for organization, ask for these things to fall into place to make sense to you, ask for definitions and help from your spirit guides to help you understand what all these different experiences are that your senses are connecting to. Yes?
Yeah. So like I want to tell you about the most important of these to me.
Yes.
So same thing, head falls in the yard, and then I was thrown down in this pristine bathroom with this snowy peak outside, and there was this little box, and it has that, that cliche where the guy's laying on the bed and then the line and his body's floating up top of it on the box. And I like look at it and I was like, oh wow, I'm dreaming. And I try to exit the bathroom. Each time I'm exiting it, I come back in the same place. I'm like, oh, I'll just think up and wake up. And so I did that. I wasn't awake. And I thought I was awake again on my bed. I was like, wow, this is really weird. Something doesn't seem right. And I get shot up into this house, and there's this her race is indiscernible, but this brown skinned woman with this white and gold outfit, and she's telling me all this stuff about my destiny. And she does this yoga pose and transforms into this white monster with all these red glowing welts all over. And she tells me to beware. And then I actually woke up and I fell asleep again. Then I was in this house, this infinite house with these infinite doorways. And then there would be people coming out of them, or it would go into another dream. And then I would wake up from that dream and end up at the house. And anyway, the most important thing out of this is what I asked this one person coming out of these doorways. To open the door, and this guy's like passing me along. I'm like, you need to tell me what's going on right now. And he's like, extreme, blah, 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 powerful, blah, blah. And I like grab him by the shoulder. I'm like, you need to tell me what's going on right now. And he says, extreme teachings from the most powerful. So who is the most powerful?
Your own higher self and your spirit guides and source and all that is.
Okay. And what makes the teachings extreme?
They're extreme relative to the reality that you're experiencing. The idea is you're giving yourself an example of the difference between your expanded self and your physical limited self. The box is what you have stuffed yourself into that represents physical reality, but the body, the astral body, is representative of the more expanded version of you. These are the things you're learning. In a sense, you're attending spiritual classes in the spirit world and being taught.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm always in a classroom. I always end up in some sort of classroom.
You are taking lessons, you are taking classes on the spirit level that will aid and assist you in understanding how to transform your physical reality in a way that works for you.
Okay.
So, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I really appreciate your insight.
It is our passion and our pleasure. You are on a journey that is very exciting. Open up to the passion, open up to the excitement. Have a good time. You will receive the help you need. All right?
Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome. Avail.
Bye.
And needs to provide them for free. Like someone owes them salvation free of charge, which is total victim mentality. These people give us examples, Jesus and other spiritual teachers who never took money for what they did. They say Jesus fed thousands with fish and never charged them. So, I would like to hear your perspective on this, please, and how I can answer this kind of provocations. Thank you. Avail.
First of all, the references that you're talking about, Jesus, Buddha, what have you, these are examples of the potential in every single human being. So this is not necessarily a service that was being provided. It was a teaching example so that others could be encouraged to be like these beings, to do the same kinds of things because you all have those abilities. So, as teaching examples, of course, they are not charging for that. But if they were to provide a service, like I am going to provide you the service of healing, I am going to give you a vibration that allows you to match that frequency so you can heal yourself, and I am training you, teaching you on a different way, on a consistent level of providing the service, of giving you the opportunity to do something that you are either unable or unwilling to do yourself. And I am using my time and my abilities to do this because you are not necessarily willing or able to do it yourself. Then there needs to be a fair exchange for the time and energy spent to give you the ability, or at least teach you how to give yourself the ability to do the same things. That's different than what those other people were doing as simply a one-off teaching example or a showing of what you're capable of. So it is only fair when someone is giving you their time, their energy, to give them something in exchange so that it is an equal exchange. Since you have stated that the only reason you're going to them to get this information or assistance is because you are either believing you are unable or unwilling to do it yourself. You're asking them to provide a service for you. And there must be some form of exchange to allow it to be an equal exchange of energy.
My name is Junyi. I'm from California. My question is about recent development on Earth that people are building distributed ledgers and then build collaboration system on top. And another concept is blockchain on Earth.
Yes, all right, we understand blockchain.
Yes, so this technology is based on ledgers, like bookkeeping over the network.
You are saying ledgers, all right, yes.
Yes. And then they are based on different consensus mechanism over the network.
Yes.
Their original design is to provide an open and trustworthy platform for the community. So
yes.
members of the community can contribute and being served effectively.
All right. Is there a question about this?
Yes. Now, I would like to know, well, now many of these efforts are reaching their limitation or delay from their original intention.
Yes.
I would like to know if there are other civilizations also build similar digital trust and collaboration system.
This is a temporary fix. This is a temporary transition between the old systems and a newer system. These things are simply transitional systems that will not ultimately last. New systems will be found that are based on the people themselves, their skills, talents, abilities, by going into a reality that exhibits much more synchronicity or synchronism that allows everyone to provide what is needed at the perfect timing. And these ideas are only transitional systems to get you used to the idea of letting go of the older systems.
Understand. Next question is, do you have any suggestion on how we can learn more deeply about the sound, vibration, and resonance, and more way to use them in our life?
We are going to talk about resonance in the next transmission.
Great. That's all my questions. Thank you much.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good day, Bashar. Thank you so much for what you do and also for Daryl.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Thank you. I've been thinking about time and space in relation to my personality self and my higher self.
Yes.
And if I think about it as a circle with my personality self around the edge of the circle, experiencing my life frame to frame, and then my higher self in the center, being able to perceive any point in that circle, if I add in the thought of alternate lives and parallel lives and alternate realities, I think about it as a sphere where there's an infinite number of edges around that sphere. Would that be a good analogy to understand?
It is a good analogy, a good permission slip that makes sense in your three-dimensional physical reality. Yes, it can work for you.
Good. And is there anything else that I could expand my thinking on with that in terms of perhaps does the sphere always expand or?
Yes. You can think of it as spheres within spheres, or you can think of it as a single sphere expanding. It's up to you to decide what works for you as an analogy. As long as you feel it's taking you in the direction that you prefer, then that's fine. It'll work.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
And also, there seems to have been sound technology in our ancient history with the archaeology that we're finding. Is that something that we'll rediscover and be able to use? And also, do you use sound technology in your civilization? And if so, what for?
Yes, you will be able to rediscover it. We simply refer to the idea now in our technology as resonance, a vibrational frequency, no matter what the medium. But yes, resonance is the basis of anything and everything. Frequencies of consciousness, frequencies of energies that allow for manifestations to develop that are based on your understanding of the level from which you're looking. So yes, resonance frequencies can be sound, can be light, can be other kinds of vibrations, but resonance is the key.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Also, I work as a hypnotherapist, and I often say to my clients that imagination is the language of the subconscious. But would it be more accurate to say that imagination is the language of the higher mind?
We have always said it is the language of the higher mind, or at least the conduit to the language of the higher mind. But that means it also works as a conduit for the unconscious and subconscious mind as well, which is why we encourage the physical mind to use its imagination to open up and broaden the conduits of communication from all aspects of its consciousness, subconscious, conscious, unconscious, higher conscious, because that's the pathway, the conduit through which communication comes in different forms from those different compartments of the consciousness.
Right. Thank you. And then I see at the moment in the world that we are, as a collective, choosing to learn lessons through pain.
Yes, that has been the case in many places for thousands of years on your planet. Now you are learning that you don't necessarily have to, but this is the time when you have to get it all out on the table to really decide what you do and don't prefer. So things intensify during those kinds of moments, those kinds of cycles, so that you can clearly see the difference between what you do and don't prefer and move in the direction you prefer. Now, some people will not move in that direction. They will still insist, because of their belief system, on the idea that they cannot necessarily move forward without the pain. But the idea is that by learning to do so yourself and moving in a more positive direction, you act as a living example to at least give them the option and opportunity to choose something different. Not that they have to, because you don't know what their path is. Nevertheless, this is the time of choosing. So things will become more intense to make it very, very clear what the choices actually are.
And so we could choose to learn the same lessons through love?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the last question is, I understand that I'm a powerful spiritual being having a physical experience to experience that illusion of separation.
Yes.
It seems paradoxical then that my drive in this life is to remember who I truly am and my connection.
Yes, it is paradoxical, but that's the whole point. You start from some place where you have sort of forgotten who you are, so that you can rediscover who you are from a new point of view, a new angle, a new perspective. That's how it works.
And for those people that don't have that drive to experience that, they'll still learn the same lessons when they return to spirit.
Well, they will learn about them. They will learn about them. They may not learn them, but they may learn about them. And they may have a choice as to how they may wish to incorporate that experience within themselves.
Right. Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Aveo.